VeggieTales is a show that I've watched a lot, and I mean a lot. Like, I put in well over 100 hours into this series. From when I was a little kid to now as an adult, I've always enjoyed watching VeggieTales, and as much as I've watched it, you'd assume I know every episode inside and out. And I thought so too, but there are a number of small details and references that I've missed in my many years of watching. So, I binge-watched every single episode of VeggieTales, all 47 episodes and 3 silly song specials, with the intention of finding every single reference and Easter egg. I'm specifically looking for self-referential Easter eggs, like a prop from one episode appearing in another or a nod to the creators and staff. If I were to mention every single reference to another show or celebrity, this video would be way longer than it needs to be. Also, for sanity's sake, I'm going to split this video into multiple parts. 47 episodes is a lot to cover, and doing it like this makes it a lot more manageable. So, with all that out of the way, let's get started with episode 1, Where's God When I'm Scared? As expected for the first episodes of the series, there are not a lot of references. In fact, this first episode only has 2. A VeggieTales poster can be seen in Junior's room right beside his window, implying that the show exists within itself. Frankencelery, otherwise known as Phil Winkelstein, is likely a reference to the show's creator, Phil Vischer. Vischer provides Frankencelery's voice, which gives more evidence towards this. The only reference I could find in God Wants Me to Forgive Them is that the hood ornament on the Grape's car looks to be one of the monsters in Junior's room. Flibby and Larry has a drawing of Junior's from the first episode hanging on his wall in Are You My Neighbor, as well as the edict signed by King Darius. And I tried, but I could not find a single reference in Rack, Shack, and Benny. In Dave and the Giant Pickle during the Rorschach test in the Silly Song, a caricature of co-creator Mike Naraki can be seen on one of the cards. Earlier versions of this episode featured animator Robert Ellis and the late Sonny Bono instead. The edict from episode 1 makes another appearance, and so do the Mountains of Fibble in this picture. This episode was also the debut of Larryboy, who will receive his own episode not too long after this one. The Toy That Saved Christmas directly connects to Rack, Shack, and Benny by having Wally P. Nezzer be the brother of Nebby K. Nezzer, the one with the chocolate factory. We even get confirmation that this is the same Mr. Lunt from that episode, which makes me wonder why he left the chocolate factory in the first place. Nezzer mentions Bumbleberry as a potential destination to send the gang, teasing the setting for the next episode. And before I move on, an additional 13 minutes of footage was created for this episode's premiere on TV. There's hardly anything in terms of references, however, 2 of the songs featured, Wild by My Sheep and Ring Little Bells, come from the Very Veggie Christmas album. In the show's first Silly Song compilation, Larry wears a Gorge Jim shirt which displays Jimmy Gord on the front. We'll see this shirt reappear in later episodes, which I'll point out when we get to them. Larry also jokes about buying a chocolate factory with no money down, referencing Nezzer's chocolate factory in Rack, Shack, and Benny. Now onto Larryboy. Junior's bear, Mr. Snuggly, is actually a recolor of Mr. Nezzer's bear in The Toy That Saved Christmas, and the fib, at least in his small form, closely resembles that monster from Junior's room, with the only difference being his color and his antenna. I Can Be Your Friend is heard playing in the police car during the Fib's rampage, and the singers from the Bunny song make a return in the Larryboy music video. Next episode, it is mentioned that Larry was tired after the Larryboy episode and was allowed to sleep in, explaining his absence from the countertop. The Larryboy helmet can be spotted in Larry's suitcase at the airport, and a stamp of Bob and Junior can be seen placed on Bob. This stamp might be a sticker produced by Big Idea, although evidence of this is very scarce. This next episode, Madame Blueberry, probably has the most references out of all the episodes made in this era. Above this doorway in Madame Blueberry's house, you can see the Art Bugatti bowling plate from the Fib from Outer Space. You can also spot the prototype cover for this episode if you look closely at the sales catalog during the Stuff Mart wrap. And if you were wondering if there is anything else hidden in there, there isn't. All the text is complete gibberish. The events of the Song of the Cebu are directly referenced by Archibald and are the reason he decides to cancel Silly Songs and replace them with Mr. Lunt. A slushie from Josh and the Big Wall appears on the drive-thru in his cheeseburger, although the contents of the cup might be ice cream, as the color is a lot lighter than usual. A proper slushie is seen later in the episode, albeit with an orange cup. Phil and Lisa Vischer cameo as vegetable versions of themselves, and while they don't speak, their daughter, Shelby Vischer, does as Annie Onion.
That's why I say thanks every day.
In the Stuff Mart, you can spot Buzzsaw Louie from The Toy That Saved Christmas on the shelves and on banners. You can also see the box for the Nezzer Chocolate Bunny from Rack, Shack, and Benny. It's a little hard to make out and I had my doubts, but the purple box and the faint silhouette of bunnies confirms it. Goliath from Dave and the Giant Pickle and the Fib from Larryboy cameo on this poster in the food court. With the fib and the bowling plate being in this episode, I can't help but think they might be teasing the rumor weed, which was the next episode to release. Carrying on, a variation of his cheeseburger can be heard in the food court. This version is simplistic and very reminiscent of elevator music. And to finish this episode out, Bob receives a Lion Pizza coupon, the brand first appearing in Dave and the Giant Pickle. Phew, I said this episode had a lot. On to the next Silly Song compilation. This episode acts as the conclusion to the mini arc with Larry and Archibald. It started with the Song of the Cebu and the pictures being out of order, which Larry claims wasn't his fault.
They got 'em mixed up in Photo Hut.
It then carried to his cheeseburger, with Archibald canceling Silly Songs until further notice. Finally ending here with Archibald being encouraged to revive Silly Songs and Larry debuting the yodeling veterinarian of the Alps. The means in which Archibald is encouraged through a petition is in reference to an actual petition sent in by a radio station from Minnesota. The start of the next episode parallels the fib from outer space, with the P brothers leaving the theater, giving their opinions on the movie, and then looking to the sky. The theater is apparently located on the corner of Vischer Street and Naraki Road, an obvious reference to Phil Vischer and Mike Naraki. The box for a surround sound amplifier from Madame Blueberry can be seen in the dumpster beside the theater. I kinda assumed they were massive speakers like the size of a fridge, but evidently they are small enough to fit in the dumpster. Officer Scooter is once again listening to I Can Be Your Friend on the police radio. It just occurred to me that the episode this song is from was Scooter's debut, which is probably why he's listening. In the classroom, we can spot a reading poster with Bob and Larry as well as a fib poster telling you to say no. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that this reading poster was real, although I have no way of knowing. We also see the children of a blueberry, a cucumber, and a gourd. While not necessarily a reference, I felt it was worth pointing out since I believe these characters never reappear. This street shot is ripped directly from the fib from outer space. Notice how this car pulls out and turns to the left in both episodes. Junior's wireframe from the last Larryboy can be spotted on a monitor in the Larry Cave, which is funny as he was the catalyst for both the weed and the fib. We can see that Alfred finally got around to labeling the buttons in the Larrymobile, and that the yellow button still activates the wings. This bell pepper is wearing the Gorge Gym shirt from Very Silly Songs, and this scallion I believe is modeled after John Waba, VeggieTales editor and voice of Dad Carrot. And this is where I'll end the first part. I've covered all the episodes produced in the 90s, which only covers a fourth of the episodes. If there are any references I missed, let me know and I'll bring them up in the next video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed and I thank you for watching. Bye.